In last video, we have completed our third chapter, that is indefinite integration. Okay, in this video, we are going to start the new chapter or the fourth chapter, that is definite integration. Okay, so the chapter is same as integration, only by using limits of integration we have to solve the problems. Okay, so students, in integration chapter, that we know that is, suppose the integration f of x dx, and that is equal to, suppose integration of f of x equal to g of x plus constant of integration c. Okay, so here, and in this chapter I have explained you that is integration means what we do in the integration. So in integration, suppose this is the curve, okay, and suppose the curve is f of x, y equal to f of x is curve, and integration of f of x means on this curve there are from, so here the number of points are there and we add all the points. Integration means we sum all the points on that curve, and that is the integration on that curve, on that part, whatever it is. Okay, that is the integration, and that is indefinite integration. Indefinite integration means we don't know from which point we have to start and on which part we have to end, and that's why it is the indefinite integration. Means we don't know what is the actual sum or on which points the actual sum is done. Only we have to do the sum on that curve, but from which point to which point, that we don't know, and that's why it is the indefinite integration. But in definite integration, suppose this is the curve, y equal to f of x is the curve. Okay, and suppose from the point A, suppose from this point, from the point A to point, suppose this is the point. So from on this curve we draw the perpendicular from the point A, suppose from x axis, and from x axis on this point and on this point. Okay, and now suppose these are the small parts, and that in definite integration it is nothing but we have to we have to add all the parts. Means from point A to point B we add all points. Okay, but students, here the point we have to specify, the point is specified, that means we have to add the all the points, means from the point A to point B, and that is, we know that from where to where we have to add the points on the curve, and that's why it is the definite integration. While in case of indefinite integration, that is not specified, but in definite integration it is specified that from which point to which point we have to all add the points. Okay, because in integration we add or we sum all the points, and in differentiation what we do, that is on that curve the small part means we, in differentiation we separate the small parts, okay, and we form small parts like this. But in integration we collect all the points, points means we sum all the points, we add all the points, and that is the integration. And in indefinite integration we don't know from where to where we have to add, but in case of definite integration we know that from which point to which point we have to add or we have to sum on the curve, and that's why it is the definite integration. Okay students, this is the concept of definite integration. So this is the chapter, that is the new chapter, that is the definite integration. Definite integral is denoted by like this. See here, that is integration f of x dx from A to B. Okay, and we read as integrals from A to B. integrals from a to b of the function f of x with respect to x. Integral from a to b means we have to add the points on the curve. We have to add all the parts of the curve of the function f of x or on the curve f of x from point A to point B. While in definite integration, the limit of integration, that is a and b, these are not given. Okay, and that's why we don't know from where to where we have to add, or which parts we have to add, and that's why that is indefinite integration. But here we completely know from where to where we have to add the parts of integration, and that's why it is the definite integration. Okay, and therefore it is read as integrals from the point A to B of the function f of x. Okay, so and here a is less than b, a is less than b. Okay, and f of x is defined on the closed interval ab, where f of x is the continuous curve. It is important, that is f of x is the continuous curve. Okay, so here therefore in integration we take sum, in definite integration we take sum from point A, and hence definite integration is, that is integration f of x dx from a to b, that is a is the lower limit of integration and b is the upper limit of integration, and this is defined as the area of the region bounded by the curve y equal to f of x. Okay, that means x-axis and ordinate means x coordinates x equal to a and x equal to b. Okay students, so suppose this is the curve, that is y equal to f of x. The curve is y equal to f of x, and suppose we have to find out, means here y equal to f of x is the curve, and this integration, that is on x-axis, that is x equal to a to x equal to b, and hence this is area bounded by the region, that means the curve, area bounded by the region means this curve. Okay, then on x-axis the point B, and on the x-axis the point A, from point A to point B, and that is along the x-axis. So this bounded area we can find out from the definite integration by taking its limit, that is limits of integration from a to b, that is y equal to f of x. So here y is function of x, that's why we have to integrate with respect to x, and in that case the limits of integration, that is from x equal to a to from x equal to b. In this way we have to find out the definite integration. Okay, that means in definite integration we take the sum from the point, that is sum from the point a to b, that is x equal to a to x equal to b, and here the total curve is divided into small segments. Okay, and then we have to add all these segments from the point x equal to a to the point x equal to b, and this is the definite integration, that is y equal to f of x with respect to x with limit of integration x equal to a to x equal to b. Okay students, and this is about the definite integration. Okay, and now suppose the integration f of x dx equal to g of x, that is g of x is the integration of f of x, then integration f of x with respect to x from a to b equal to integration of this f of x is g of x, and limit of integration, that is from a to b. And to solve this integration, how we have to solve, that is subtract lower limit from upper limit. Upper limit is b and lower limit is g, and we can calculate like this, that is g of b minus g of a, and this is the integration, definite integration of the function f of x from a to b. Okay students, now let us study about the fundamental theorem of integral calculus. So what is the fundamental theorem of integral calculus? That is, suppose let f be the continuous function which is defined on a closed interval ab. Okay, and if integration of f of x with respect to x equal to g of x plus constant of integration c, then let us find out integration of f of x with respect to x from a to b. Limits of integral from a to b. So this integration of f of x is g of x plus c. Okay, where c is the constant of integration and the limits of integration are from a to b. So we can calculate the here x equal to a to x equal to b. The value of x changes from a to b. Okay, so that's why it is equal to g of b. So here put the value of upper limit minus the value of lower limit. That is g of b plus c minus g of a plus c. Here student, c is the constant. You know that the value of constant does not get changed, and that's why c will remains as c in both cases. Okay, so here g of b plus c minus g of a plus minus c. So plus c minus c get cancelled, and this is g of b minus g of c, and this is integration of f of x with respect to x from a to b equal to g of b minus g of a. So in case of definite integration, there is no constant of integration, while in case of indefinite integration, we take the constant of integration. Okay students, and why we have taken this constant of integration, I have explained in very first video of the indefinite integration. Okay students, so in definite integration it is not necessary to take the constant of integration, and in this way we can calculate the value of definite integration, that is lower upper limit minus lower limit. Okay, now there are 8 important properties for the definite integration, and we have to study the properties one by one. And out of 8 properties, the 4 properties out of 8 properties, the 4 properties are the theorem, and this theorem, their proofs are also there for each property, and last 4 properties are very important regarding to your board exam, because number of times these properties are asked as a theorem for the exam, and that's why that properties are very important. Now let us take the first property, the property number 1, that is integration of f of x with respect to x from limit a to a, x equal to a to a equal to 0. So proof of this property. So students, let the integration of f of x with respect to x equal to g of x, suppose. Okay, and now let us consider a to a and g of x plus constant of integration c, suppose, and this is integration f of x with respect to x from limit of integration a to a, and this is equal to integration of f of x is g of x plus c. So g of x plus c and the limit of integration a to a. Okay, so put the upper limit and lower limit, that is upper limit is z, that's why it is g of a plus c minus the lower limit is also a, and that's why that is g of a plus c. So students, g of a minus g of a get cancelled, plus c minus c get cancelled, and it is equal to 0. Hence the proof of first property. Now the second property is that the integration of, let us take the another property, the integration of a to b, that is integration of f of x with respect to x limit of integration from a to b equal to minus f of x dx, limits of integration, that is b to a. Students, if you interchange the limits of integration, means the lower limit is changes to upper and upper to lower, then the sign of integration get changes. Okay, that means the positive sign get changes into negative sign. And this property is very important while solving the problems. Okay, students. So let us take proof of this property. The property is that is integration of f of x dx. Suppose this is equal to g of x plus c, and therefore now let us consider integration a to b f of x dx, and this is equal to, that is g of x plus c, g of x plus c, limits of integration from a to b, and that is equal to g of b minus g of a, g of b minus g of a. Okay, this is. Now let us consider, or also you can convert this, by taking negative sign outside. You can write this is equal to g of a minus g of b. Okay, we can convert this by considering negative side outside. This is equal to g of a minus g of b. Okay, and this g of a minus g of b, this is equal to in terms of integration we can write, that is this is equal to minus sign as it is. G of a means upper limit is a, lower limit is b, and this is equal to f of x dx, or f of x with respect to x, and hence this is equal to this is. Hence we can start from here and finish here. That means integration a to b f of x with respect to x equal to, with minus sign, b to a f of x dx, f of x with respect to x. This is the proof of second property. Okay, now let us see the third property. For example, see students, suppose integration of x with respect to x. Okay, this is for example. Okay, integration of x with respect to x. Okay, and suppose from 1 to 2, and its integration, you know that this is x square upon 2, upper limit to lower limit to upper limit. So x square, so put the value. So upper limit minus lower limit, x is 2, and that's why this is 2 square minus the value of x we will put here 2, that is 2 square upon 2 minus 1 square upon 2. 1 square is 1, and this is equal to 2 square is 4 by 2. Okay, this is 4 by 2. 4 by 2 means 2, and 2 minus 1 by 2, and this is equal to 3 by 2. This is equal to 3 by 2. And now if we changes the limit of integration, suppose after changing the limits of integration, that is, see here, that is x with respect to x and limit of integration. Now we consider suppose 2 to 1. Now see what will happen. This is x square upon 2, and this is 2 to 1. So x, put upper limit, that is 1 square upon 2, this is 1 by 2, minus, now put the lower limit is 2 square is 4 by 2. 4 by 2, and this is equal to minus 3 by 2. This is equal to minus 3 by 2. See student, this is minus 3 by 2 and now this is 3 by 2. That means the property is that if we changes or we interchange the upper limit and lower limit, then the value of integration or value of definite integration changes into its sign only. Okay, its sign get changes. This is the second property. Now the third property is that that is the third property is that the integration of a to b f of x with respect to x equal to f of t with respect to t and from limit of integration a to b. That means if we changes the variable, then doesn't matter, means the value of definite integration does not changes. Both are same, both are equal. Okay students, suppose this is LHS and suppose this is RHS. Okay, so let us solve the LHS. LHS is suppose the integration of f of x dx is suppose g of x. Okay, suppose integration of f of x with respect to x is g of x and g of x plus c, and integration of f of t dt equal to g of t plus c. Now put the values here. Okay, so LHS will become integration f of x dx with respect from limits of integration a to b, it will be, this is equal to, I will directly write, okay, f of x dx. Now the integration of f of x is g of x plus c, so that's why it is g of x plus c limit of integration from a to b. Okay, and now this is equal to integration of f of t is suppose g of t, from here g of t plus c and limit of integration a to b. Okay students, now put the value, we will get, this is g of b minus g of a, g of b minus g of a, c will get cancelled. Okay, plus c minus c will get cancelled, and here also this is g of b minus g of a plus c minus c get cancelled, and hence LHS equal to RHS. Okay, from 1 and 2 we directly prove, that is integration from a to b, limits of integration from a to b, f of x with respect to x equal to, that is f of t dt with limits of integration a to b. If limits of integration are same, if we changes in only the variable, then there is no get change in value, and this is the important property. Okay, suppose for example, see students, for example, suppose integration 0 to pi by 2, integration of sine of x with respect to x, this is for example. Okay, and sine of x with respect to x, limits of integration 0 to pi by 2. We know that the integration of sine of x is minus cos of x, and limits of integration 0 to pi by 2. Okay, now put upper limit and lower limit, we will get, this is equal to minus cos pi by 2, minus sign we will take outside, okay, and minus cos of 0. So here you know that cos pi by 2 is 0, the minus sign is outside, cos pi by 2 is 0, minus cos 0 is 1, and this is minus plus 1. Okay, so the value of this integration or this definite integration, the value is 1. Now let us change the variable and solve again. That is integration from limits 0 to pi by 2. Okay. So let us take for example, and now the variable we have changed the variable, that is sin of t with respect to t. We know that the integration of sin of t is minus cos of t. Okay, and limits of integration 0 to pi by 2. Okay, so this is equal to minus sign outside, cos pi by 2 minus cos 0, and this is with negative sign, cos pi by 2 is 0, minus cos 0 is 1, and minus minus becomes plus, and hence if we here we changes the variable, that is x is converted into t, but there is no change in the value of definite integration. Hence the third property with example I have explained. Okay students, in this way. Now let us solve some examples, then we will take the fourth property, fifth property like this. Okay students, and the properties 1, 2, 3 are very basic properties, and these properties never asked in exam. Okay, but from property number 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8, these properties are important according to the board example. Their proofs are also asked. Okay, so students, first solve some examples from the exercise 4.1, 4.2, then we will take the proof or take the properties from the fourth properties. Okay, now let us solve example, that is from exercise 4.2. the example is that evaluate the integration of x plus 1 upon root x with respect to x, limit of integration from 1 to 9. Students, in exercise of the definite integration, there are only two exercises. The first exercise for this year, that is not in your syllabus, that is for the limit of sum, that is omitted. And now the second exercise 4.2, in the second exercise 4.2 there are 3 questions. Each question contains 15 problems. Okay, so there are total 45 problems and we have to solve one by one. Okay, the integration is there, we have to solve only integrations and put the values of the limit, nothing but. Okay, so let us solve first integration, that is integration x plus 1 upon root x. To solve this integration, okay, so first simplify the problem. To simplify the problem, that is first term upon root x plus 1 upon root x. Okay, now let the integration I equal to, this is integration I equal to 1 to 9 x plus 1 upon root x with respect to x. To solve this, first simplify, that is integration from 1 to 9 x upon root x plus 1 upon root x with respect to x. And now this is equal to integration from 1 to 9 x upon root x means root x, and 1 upon root x means that is root x raised to minus 1. Okay, 1 upon root x means root x raised to minus 1, or that is x raised to minus 1 by 2. Any way you can write, students. Okay, and root x means x raised to half, you know that. And now let us solve the integration. Now take the integration separately. So the first term, integration of first term plus integration of second term. So integration, the limit of integration from 1 to 9, root x means x to the power half plus integration second term. So in this way you have to write, students, that is limit of integrations. Okay, and now x raised to minus half with respect to x, and now solve the integration. Students, you know the formula, that is integration of x raised to n with respect to x is x raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1. By using this formula, you have to solve. So x raised to half, this is x raised to half means x raised to 1 by 2 plus 1 upon 1 by 2 plus 1. And now write down the limits of integration on the bracket. Okay, like this you have to write. Now plus integration of second term x raised to minus half plus 1 x raised to minus half plus 1 upon minus half plus 1, and that is limit of integration 1 to 9, and this is equal to x raised to 3 by 2 upon 3 by 2. Limit of integration 1 to 9 plus x raised to 1 by 2, okay, upon 1 by 2, limit of integration 1 to 9. Remember that in case of definite integration there is no constant of integration, and therefore integration I equal to this 3 by 2 we can write as 2 by 3 x raised to, so here x raised to 3 by 2, limit of integration 1 to 9 plus 2 by 1, limit of integration that is 1 to 9. So upper limit minus lower limit. This 3 by 2 into upper limit, that is x, the upper limit value of x is 9. So 9 raised to 3 by 2. 9 raised to 3 by 2. Okay. Minus. This is upper limit. Now put the lower limit. That is x equal to 1. 1 raised to 3 by 2. Okay students. And when we use the upper limit and lower limit, means when we put the upper limit and lower limit, then don't write the upper limit and lower limit on the bracket. Okay. See here. I have not written the upper limit and lower limit here. Okay. Now plus 2 by 1 as it is. X raised to half. X raised to half means 9 raised to half. 9 raised to half minus 1 raised to half. Minus 1 raised to half. In this way, write down the upper limit and lower limit. Now integration I equal to 3 by 2 outside the brackets. Okay. And 9 means, see students, 9 means 3 square. 9 means 3 square raised to 3 by 2. Raised to 3 by 2. Minus any 1 raised to anything is 1. That you know. Okay. And plus this 2 by 1 as it is. 9 raised to half means 3 square raised to half minus 1 raised to half is 1. 1 raised to half is 1 in this way. And now this is equal to 3 by 2. This, see students, these 2 get cancelled and now 3 raised to 3. This is 3 raised to 3 minus 1 plus 2 into this 2 get cancelled. 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay, like this. And now this is equal to 3 raised to 3 means 27 minus 1, that is 26. Integration I equal to 3 by 2 into 3 raised to 3. 3 3s are 9, 3s are 27 minus 1 is 26 and plus this 2 into 2, that is 4. This is 4. Okay, in this way. And now this x raised to 3, see students, x raised to 3 by 2. and this is 2 by 3. This is 2 by 3 everywhere. We have to correct this. This is 2 by 3, 2 by 3. Okay, this is 2 by 3. Okay, so 2 by 3 into 26 plus 4. Okay, students, so please correct here. This is 2 by 3. Okay, and now upper limit minus lower limit, upper limit minus lower limit, and this is equal to 26 into 2, that is 52 plus 4 3s are 12, LCM will be 3, 4 3s are 12, and upon 3, and this is equal to 64 upon 3, and this is the integration. This is integration from limit of integration 1 to 9 x plus 1 upon root x with respect to x. In this way, this you have to solve the definite integration, means nothing but the integration, find out its integration and put its upper limit and lower limit. In this